Yo, boys and girls of the Mirror Cult, welcome to the MiRecap. As usual, we do this right after or right before, technically now, because we had a 2-week break for MPL ID. So right before the new upcoming week, which is going to start again tomorrow. So in case you guys didn't know, MPL Indonesia Season 13, yes, will be starting again tomorrow. All right, 19th of April 2024. That's the day that week 5 will start, and it'll continue to go for 4 weeks towards week number 9, and then we will 5 weeks. Sorry, 5 more weeks to go to get to week number 9, because yes, MPL ID will be 9 weeks in total. So without further ado, let's just get straight into the team power rankings first, I guess, based on week 4 to get you guys updated and up to date with all the things that happened in the week 4. Here it is, boys. This is the team power rankings that we left in week 3. I think not much has changed, to be fair, but we will again start with BTR Alpha here. BTR Alpha, are they still considered a top team after week 4? In week 4, their track record was they were able to beat Rebellion 2-0 in the week to start things off really, really well, but unfortunately they had to lose 2-0 against Onyx Indo in the second day, I believe. And it's very unfortunate for BTR Alpha to take a loss against Onyx, but it also looked like Onyx were back in their prime form again. They were able to find the problems in their game, Onyx, against BTR. But I think for BTR Alpha, the main takeaway from their win and their loss, from their win is the main takeaway is that they're still really, really good. They're still very, very consistent. They understand how to execute their game plan. They understand how to draft properly. But in their loss, I think some things need to be noticed by the coaching staff and also by the players here. I think for the drafts for BTR Alpha, they have been a bit formulaic. A lot of teams have finally been able to dissect the BTR Alpha code when it comes to how they like to draft. If they are able to fix that, make it a bit more twisty, make it a bit more flexible, make it a bit more unpredictable, then I think a lot of teams will struggle still up against BTR Alpha, struggle more than they are right now, because BTR are already playing really, really well. They're executing their game plan really, really well. Unfortunately, against Onyx, they didn't execute their game plan as clean as you would expect. I think in game 2, when they had a chance to come back, unfortunately, they were making a lot of very, very desperate calls in towards the end, despite them having a man advantage already, despite them basically having the game in their hands already. And Man going for the split push, making it so that Onyx have a man's disadvantage around the jungle area, but still BTR Alpha failed to get that red tree in. And Man was also fighting in the mid lane for a bit too long, and they ended up losing the game entirely. So a lot of little mistakes that has built up for BTR Alpha, but again, these are very, very easily solved problems for the team. And I think for BTR Alpha, because they did lose against Prime Onyx again, I would say that was Prime Onyx, I'll have to still put them at number 1. They have to fix some issues in the draft, some issues in the way that they take the late game, but they're still really, really solid. Next up, we have Team Onyx. For Onyx, we've been saying that for week 1, week 3, it just feels like they haven't found their jam. And even in week 4, they did not find their jam instantly. Like, they were not the same team when they were up against Dewa compared to the team that went up against BTR Alpha. The Onyx that went up against Dewa, sure, you can give them the benefit of the doubt because it was Lutpi's, their new XP laners, first time playing in MPL. I also gave them the benefit of the doubt. A lot of new players, you have to give them time. I don't think one game is enough. Sometimes one season, maybe not even enough for the players to actually adapt. But the man's been able to adapt quite well, I would say. Despite the first match performance being pretty bad for Lutpi, in the match against BTR Alpha, it was really solid. Also, their loss against Dewa, it did feel like maybe they just were not ready for that kind of meta. They were not ready for the Masha in the roam that Drian brought into the fray. And for that, maybe Onyx were just bamboozled by the fact that, there's a crazy Masha running around, and they weren't ready for it. Against BTR, though, it just definitely feels like they were very, very ready. Coach Yeb and Adi, they found a way to utilize what makes Onyx super strong. I think we've heard this talk all around from Carl TZ, even in a lot of clips. You guys probably have seen it as well, where Carl TZ said that it just feels different with Kyrie playing on these team players. He's a team player now. It just feels weird to see Kyrie being a team player with the utility junglers. And I think it's a very fair assessment that Carl Tizzy has made, and I think I have to agree with him, because when Onyx banned out all the tank junglers, this is something that we have never seen before, by the way, in ID at least. I don't know for other regions, but Coach Jeb legit banned Barats, Baksha, and Fredrin. He forced the assassin duel in the jungle, and when they were able to do that against Bigatron Alpha, they won. They got the Joy, traded in for the Nolan. Bigatron took the Nolan, and Kyrie was able to perform the way that he has always been able to perform on the Assassins. It just goes to show you that Kyrie hasn't really lost his touch when it comes to Assassins. Maybe he has a little bit when it comes to utility junglers. He's not as good as he was previously, but with Kyrie on the Joy, we got a glimpse of what Prime Onyx looks like again. The whole team was able to perform really, really well because everybody was just playing around each other. In Game 2, it was a bit tougher. I think that game was the game where Onyx had to go back to a play style where the rest of the team needs to carry again. They need to actually play with team player Kyrie because he was given the Martis in the end. Even though they banned all of the tank junglers, Bigatron Alpha did not want to go up against the Assassin again. So they were the ones to ban out the Assassins. And in the end, we had to see a tank versus tank again. Another tank versus tank. A Kai versus Martis. Still, though, Sans was crazy. CW was insane. Lutpi still getting there. Keyboy was doing really well. I think because of that, we will have to put Onyx at top team. Because of their inconsistency, though, I don't know if I want to put them. I think it's still fair to put them number 1 because they did beat Bigatron Alpha, and I think with the right preparation now with the 2 weeks, they should be able to be number 1 up against BTR. Even they should be the number 1 team again. They should be able to get a win streak going, unless some other team, for some reason, somehow, some way, beats them again, like with a crazy strat. But for now, we'll put Onyx right there. Next up, we have Alter Ego. And another case of a team that is so brilliant, so full of potential, but has major, major problems in the team. I think we've been talking about the same problems for Alter Ego from week 1, week 2, week 3, and now week 4. Their micro is amazing. When the game goes template, it's amazing. When they're able to win out in the early game, snowball from the early game pressure that they have, and get turtles, neutral objectives, whatever, the snowball, kills, laning, advantages, etc. They're really, really good. But that's it. That's where they stop being good. When they don't get the template start that they want, when they don't get the early advantage that they usually get from their individual mechanical prowess in lane or team fights, the early team fights, they're just a very, very mediocre team. How do I say mediocre? Mechanics, I'll still say they're really one of the best teams when it comes to mechanics. But the macro game just feels very, very off from Alter Ego. They're very inconsistent because they always just take fights after fights after fights. It doesn't seem like they have the right strategy. From listening to their voice comms, it does sound like Taz is probably the smartest of all of the players in Alter Ego. He's the one making the calls that I actually agree with, right? When they were behind, Taz was telling the team, don't go for the fight, guys. It's okay if we leave the Lord. It's okay if we go for other things. But the team doesn't want to listen to him for the most part. In week 4, game or match number 2, week 4, their second match when they won against Dewa, we saw that Alter Ego. We saw an Alter Ego that was a bit more macro-centric, a bit more objective-centric, and that was the Alter Ego we saw with Rekt. Don't know if Rekt will still be in the lineup. Rossi has been very, very good as well. But it does seem like with this meta coming forth, the Angelas, the Groks, the Mathildas, it's a good time for Rekt to come back. And with Rekt coming back, I don't know if he actually has been making the calls with Taz or not. But it does feel like Alter Ego as a whole are able to listen to these shot calls properly and better with Rekt in the lineup. So if that's really the case for Alter Ego, I would still put them at great right now. I don't think I'll put them at top team. We'll have to see how they perform in week 5 before I can put them in top team. But great already, sure. Alter Ego, if they address the macro problem, honestly, this can be a team that can go places. Like even internationally, they're a team that can be contenders if they continue what they're doing right now. We're moving on to mid-table now for Geek Fam. Geek Fam is it's a weird spot for Geek Fam because coming out of week 3, they were performing really, really well. Hazel back in the jungle, not Ray. I've been very vocal about what I think about Ray. I've been very vocal about what I think about Hazel. Hazel is a way better jungler. I don't think that's a hot take anymore. It was a hot take maybe in week 1 when I said it first. But now with Hazel in the lineup, I already spoke with Beloy as well, and apparently this isn't the full potential Hazel. Hazel is still nervous, believe it or not, on stage. With his performances, with his red trees winning out consistently against top junglers, he is still nervous. The last 2 weeks should be able to give him more time to fix the stage fright or whatever he's dealing with on stage. And if that does happen, it's going to be really, really cool. Because, again, I think this team is already really good. They have a lot of good pieces here. They have a good gold laner in Chidera, very, very consistent. They have an amazing jungler in Hazel, probably the most underrated mid laner in MPL Indonesia Season 13. Up in my top 3 for mid lanes, a boy. And they have Beloyski, obviously the mine, a mechanical god in the XP lane, Luke, who I think last week was the best XP lane. Unfortunately, though, in week 4, I don't know what happened to Luke. I don't know what happens to the players that I give number 1 in my player tier list. Well, not everyone, because Skylar performed. A lot of the people who I put as number 1 performs, but Luke did not. Week 3, he was playing out of his mind. I put him as number 1 XP. And then week 4, he started playing the Benedettas, the Paquitos, and it just didn't feel like it was his style. It doesn't even feel like he was comfortable on it. He was outclassed by Aura, and needless to say, that was their loss as well. They lost to Aura. They got completely outclassed, and we'll talk a bit more about that when we talk about Aura. But for Geek Fam right now, it does feel like with their improvements, at least, especially after the loss against Aura, they were able to find a lot of these issues and fix them real quick. I think they're going to be a great team. Like, this is where we'll probably see more great teams than mid-tables. And yeah, we'll see from there. Geek Fam up in great, and Aura will follow them as well, being probably the highest great tier team. I think even Geek Fam might be better than Alter Ego here, depending on how I put it here. But because it does feel like Geek are a bit more complete, but I'll put Geek Fam here first because Alter Ego does have the potential to be better. So for Aura, why do I put Aura as the best great team here in MPL Indonesia Season 13 based on week 4? Gugun has basically proven the doubters wrong again. Most of the doubters, even after week 1 to week 3, his stellar performance, there were still some doubters who were saying he's only a utility jungler. He can't play these assassins. When he gets a pick like a Nolan and a Joy, and these assassins in general, he won't be able to perform. Turns out he is able to perform. Aura played extraordinarily well, I think, with their lineup. This week was just a really, really good week for Aura. Aran was playing well. Yaoi was making calls, was doing really, really well. Yehezkiel improved. Kabuki got his comfort picks. And the jungle as well, Gugun, proved a lot of people wrong with the Nolan. Very, very great performance from Aura. Can't wait to see what they have to bring again, because right now they are a contender to beat Onyx, to beat BTR. I hope maybe we can get a new champion. Maybe Aura is the new champion that we've all been looking for, right? There are still some problems, as, every team has problems. For Aura, I think it's still hero pool. Kabuki hasn't been punished, and the games that he has been punished in the drafts, when he doesn't get the carry, when he doesn't get the Claude, it has been very, very scary for Aura, because those are the games that they lose in. So if they are able to fix that issue, if they are able to also widen Yaoi's hero pool just a bit more, he did find a win on the Angela, so that's really, really cool. But still, I think his comfort is mainly the Grok, the Chose, the initiation roamer. Sorry. So for Aura, still some problems there, because even Aran, even though yes, he does perform now on the Xborg, on the Terizlas, it does feel like he's just way more comfortable on the Benedettas, on the Paquitos, and those are things that Aura needs to keep in mind for the next matches, for the next week as well. If they are able to fix that problem, bro, easily Aura will be top team contender. Now, moving on to mid-table, we're going to quick fire this one. Rebellion had a very unfortunate week in week number 4. Again, very, very inconsistent the way that I see Rebellion right now. They have very good players. They have, their players are really, really good. I'm not even going to cap with you guys, right? they're really good, but I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's the coaching staff. I don't know if it's just the players not understanding what they need to do, like macro wise, but they're so inconsistent. The drafts have been inconsistent as well, to be honest with you. They have made incredible leaps when it comes to drafts, like playing the Luo Yi first in MPL ID and doing really well with it, beating Onic with it. But then there are other games where they are completely lost in the draft and even in the game. If Rebellion can fix the macro issues, if Rebellion can fix the draft issues, if Rebellion can fix their performance issues where they always just feel very inconsistent, they could very easily be a great team. But for now, honestly, I'm going to have to put them in no playoffs. The way that they are playing is very unfortunate and very disappointing to me. I think this team could be way better than no playoffs. But for now, they are looking, based on week 4, like probably the worst team in MPL ID. And Evo's Glory, we'll get to them. RQ will stay in mid-table for now. They have yet to find their consistency. They have yet to find their form because they have been, to be fair, to give them a little bit of the benefit of the doubt, a lot of roster changes. Lemon and Vin returned to RRQ in week 4. They won against Alter Ego, made it look like it was so good, but then they lost to Geek Fam. Does that mean they are good? Does that mean they're better than Alter Ego? I unfortunately don't think so. I think Alter Ego got scared because of Vin and Lemon coming back. I think they were not ready for what Vin and Lemon can bring in terms of the pressure, and they were not ready for that aggression. But again, that was also always an Alter Ego problem. If they lose out in the early game, they will lose out the game completely. In RQ, this one at least with Vin and Lemon, does feel like in the early game they are really good. But the same problem lie in RQ that lies in Alter Ego. They have a really good early game, but when the early game doesn't go to plan, they don't know what to do. The team struggles. The team just scatters everywhere. They have no plan whatsoever when they lose out in the early game. And that's what gave Geek Fam the opportunity to really beat them in their match. RQ, before this at least, when they were up against Alter Ego, for some reason they had a plan. Like in the late game, they had Skylar. But against Geek Fam, for some reason, they didn't. I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's just an RQ problem, if it's just like because there's a new lineup, they aren't really consistent with it. I'm going to say that might be the problem because I think with Vin and Lemon stepping in, they should be a very good team. Rad's looking really good. Banana back into XP, the better XP lane. Thank God, by the way, because, okay, if RQ play Octa and Dawn again next week, I'll be pretty disappointed. I'm not a fan of those two players for now. Again, it's their first time in MPL, so benefit of the doubt, they could improve and they can be better next season. But for me in the XP, Banana is surely better for now. Lemon, surely better than Octa. Those two have been unfortunate, to say the least, in the last few performances. So, yeah, RQ, again, I'll say this. I've been saying this every week, but their potential is top team or at the minimum great. It's so sad that we haven't seen them reach that potential just yet, but I hope in the next few weeks they can find their form and get up there. Next though, we have Dewa United. Still also very inconsistent, but I will have to put them in mid-table. They're still probably the lowest mid-table team. RQ is better than them because of the same problems. Very inconsistent. They have kind of found their form. They have kind of found their comfort. They like it when they have neutral objective control, as this is going to be a pattern for a lot of teams in the no playoff category into the mid-table category. They do really well in one thing and one thing only, which is the early game fights, controlling the objectives and snowballing. And for Dewa, that's kind of the case. For Evo's Glory, that's also kind of the case. I think for Dewa and Evo's Glory, they're kind of evenly matched now when it comes to their performance around neutral objectives. When I think Dewa are still better though, because for Dewa, at least they have a late game insurance plan over like teams like Evos and even Rebellion. They will understand that if they lose out in the early team fights, they can always rely on Watt, they can always rely on K's, and sometimes they're able to actually play patiently and execute their late game plan. Evos, not so much. So far, we've only seen that early game domination or the early game loss. So for Evos, they're still a bit more 50-50. I think it's either no playoffs, like high no playoffs, top of no playoffs, or lowest mid-table. I'll put them at lowest mid-table right now because, again, they are also a new lineup. It looks like they have found their jam, though, with Brands instead of Natco, with a leader and a shot caller in their team. So this is what it looks like for me based on Week 4's performance. We will move on to their player to the player performances next. So I'll see you guys in a bit. All right, these are the gold lane standings as we had it last week. So let's move some things around super fast again as usual. And on Skylar, honestly, despite like Skylar not performing, like despite our Skylar's team underperforming in week 4, I'll have to say Skylar has been looking like probably the best goal laner. CW's up there too again here with just this consistency. I would say for Kabuki, still B tier here. Brands, though, I will move up to pretty high B tier. Nino and then Watt. But then we have, unfortunately, based on week 4. This is very sad to see because I'm an Albert fan myself. But based on week 4, yeah, I think he might just have to be placed here. But hold up. I'm going to have to put in Chidera real quick. I forgot where Chidera went. But Chidera has been really, really solid, I would say. Probably the highest A tier for now. So this is it for gold lane. Let's move on to Rome. And here it is, Rome. So this is how we placed it last time. We have a few new players around the board. Who? Dreams. Yeah, okay. Let's move Dreams in here because yeah, Dreams is there too. I think for Dreams, he's here. Drian. I think Drian is solid. Auditizi will be unfortunately demoted down. We'll use Brusco as Vin for now, boys. But then we have Rasi, who is over here now. Dreams is a bit better. Beloy, Drian, Key, Yaoi and Keyboy is still there. Yeah. Then I guess we'll use Van Strong. This is Wrecked by. Okay, we'll just use this as Wrecked for now. Wrecked has actually been pretty solid. I would put Wrecked at A if he gets his heroes. He's been really, really good. So this is Wrecked. In case you guys don't know, please. This is Wrecked. I'm sorry, I don't have the picture. I'll fix it. And this is Vin, okay? Because Brusco didn't play last week, so Vin is like around here for now, okay? I think he might be here. Nah, I think he's here. Probably here. Vin's right here for now. Okay, boys. This is Rec. This is Vin, and everything else is according to the faces. I'm very sorry. Next up, we have the mid laners. I think for now we'll have to put Sans Moreno Aboy still, just a different order now. It's going to be Sans Moreno Aboy in week 4, or week 3 it was Moreno Sans Aboy. Krite is still going to be there. Yehezkiel there. I think for Lemon, I'm going to put him at very low A tier. Still better than B tier. B tier. Yehezkiel, I'll put him right here for now. I do think Swalo has been performing better, but again, Lemon, you know what? Nah, yeah, we'll put him right here. Octa, let's take him out of there. Who am I forgetting here? Oh, Clockun, bro. Let's put in Clockun real quick. Clockun. For Claw, he's actually been really, really good. I'll have to say Clockun is probably right there in terms of mid lane, or right below Yehezkiel. So yeah, K's is not bad, by the way. This mid lane is very, very stacked in Indo, luckily. So yeah, this doesn't mean K's is bad. He hasn't been performing as well as the others. So we'll put him here for now. No hate to K's, dude. But yeah, this is how I see it. Let's move on to the next one. All right, here's the jungle tier list. I think I'm still gonna have to put Super Ken. I'm still gonna have to put Super Ken as like probably the top jungler with Taz still. I think these two are interchangeable. They're really, really good. They're very, very flex. Gugun is rising though. Like, dude, this guy might end up being #1 by the end of the season. And yes, this is probably crazy to a lot of you guys. Kyrie in A? What the fuck, Mirko? Are you stupid? Yeah, he's my favorite player. But unfortunately, right now with the meta and based on week 4 performance, he's still very, very inconsistent. When he does get the assassins, he still performs well, and sometimes you still get to see the glimpse of the prime Kyrie with his godly retribution, even on the Martis. But you have to be honest too, he's been looking a bit shaky, and I think A suits him right now. Vincent will be tiered down. Annabelle will be put up. Hazel, I think Hazel deserves to be here. He's really, really good. Gary unfortunately hasn't found his form. Annabelle. We'll put Annabelle right here for now. But this is how it looks like for me in the jungle. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. We'll move on to the next one. All right, boys. So here it is. This is the XP tier list. It was this way last time, but right now I think. By the way, we'll take Lutpi as boots for now. I don't have a picture for him. Okay, I'm very, very sorry. But this is, so let's just think this is Lutpi. Okay, and Soriza also played. So we also have JM who played. So I'm gonna have to go in JM. Picture of JM. Okay, so JM last week actually didn't perform that well. I'll have to put them at like low B for week 4. So Rizzo performed quite well, not bad at all. Aran performed way better than Luke and Pi for the most part, but Pi I would still say is right there. Aran is number 1 right now. I'm gonna have to demote Luke because of his performances on the Benedetta and the Paquito. On his normal heroes, he still does perform really well. Banana is probably here right now. I'm gonna have to downgrade Dixon. Cars is still very, very solid. The team's very inconsistent though, so I'm gonna have to demote him a bit. Put Fluffy right there. Oh yeah, JM might be a bit worse there. Okay, so I think this might be it for me. XP Lane tier list based on week 4. Again, this is based on week 4. I think Banana. Oh, this is tough. This is Lutpi, by the way. Okay, this is not Boots. XP is really tough. Yeah, I think this is pretty accurate. I think this is okay. Based on week 4 performance, I think this is okay. Well, there you have it. Those are all the roles ranked, listed. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section down below. If you guys agree, if you guys disagree, let me know. And I'll see you guys in the next content. Peace out. Also, don't forget to catch MPL ID tomorrow because we are starting back again, baby.